Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to my review and in depth analysis for Star Wars Empire's End. This book was absolutely terrible. Like, it's one of the worst Star Wars comic books I've ever read. I'm completely baffled at how bad this book really is. Now, first of all, there was absolutely no reason whatsoever to continue this story. There didn't need to be a Dark Empire trilogy. The first the first book was perfectly fine. It was. Dark Empire was great. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I love that book. Now, whether you want to say it's canon or not, I get it. The Empire coming back, Palpatine coming back, all that stuff. Yeah, it's debatable whether that's redundant or whether that undermines Vader's sacrifice, etc., etc. But nevertheless, that book was fun. It was fun to read. My favorite part about Dark Empire 1 was seeing Leia and Luke come together to defeat Palpatine's clone. That was awesome. That was beautiful. Especially seeing Leia as a Jedi, wielding a lightsaber, kicking some ass. That was great. And then comes Dark Empire 2, which just felt redundant and unnecessary. And I knew that to begin with. But I picked the book up and read it anyway, just to, just for kicks, just to have some fun. And it wasn't the fact that the Emperor came back again. I already knew that was going to happen. It was the fact that it wasn't even explained. He just pops up out of nowhere after Luke and Leia basically banish him to the netherworlds or something, to the spirit world and with the dark side and stuff. But he just comes out of nowhere. They basically pull a somehow Palpatine's return kind of routine here. But like I said in that review, at the very least, the book was entertaining. I was able to read it and not really find it to be preposterous. I thought some things were ridiculous, but I was able to admire the artwork. I was able to kind of feel like there was some sense of continuity between the first volume and the second volume. Well, here it feels jarring as hell. The writing does not feel like the same. The artwork is absolutely terrible. It is terrible. It's a completely different artist that draws this book. So why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, if this is supposed to be a trilogy, why would you get a different artist to pencil it? I mean, okay, maybe you get a different artist to pencil the artwork, but at least get a good one, because this is just awful. It was terrible to look at, and most importantly, it was terrible to read. I felt like the writing felt like it was intended for a bad cartoon. But I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you what made this book an absolute fail for me. Okay? So, you read these books, and they're about the Skywalker family, primarily Luke, Leia, Han, and their children. And Palpatine comes back. Okay? Now, what do you expect from this story? How do you expect this story to end? Well, I would think for the most part that most people would expect at the very end of the story for either Luke, Leia, somebody with the Skywalker bloodline, one of the main protagonists in these storylines that we've been following, to defeat Palpatine. Or maybe Palpatine is just blinded by the thirst for power, and he ends up being the one that is responsible for his own self-destruction. Either one of those things I could take. Well, in this book, so this is the end of the trilogy, the way Palpatine is finally defeated is at the hands of some random Jedi. And this random Jedi is one of the most absurd characters I've ever seen in all my reading of Star Wars lore and the expanded universe. So this Jedi is known as Brand. And he literally looks like fucking Humpty Dumpty. Like literally, he looks like Humpty Dumpty. He looks like a floating egg. Why does he look like this? He looks like this because apparently Darth Vader was responsible for messing him up during the Great Purge, and he was a survivor, and he's a Jedi from back in the day, and he survived, and now he's encased in this suit that basically just makes him look like an egg, and he looks absolutely ridiculous. His backstory sounds interesting, but he is like the overseer or like the prime minister of this hidden space station that is steam operated inside I guess, I don't know, I get inside it some kind of nebula or something, just something ridiculous. But my point is, you got this random character who is absolutely absurd looking being the main hero here. And they try to go for this like, oh, he sacrificed himself and like, oh wow, he's an honorable hero kind of thing. And I'm like, oh my God. So let me get this straight. Vader kills the Emperor. That was beautiful. Okay, we're going to bring the Emperor back as a clone. All right. And now Luke and Leia together kill the Emperor. Oh, that was nice. Oh, we're going to bring the Emperor back again. But this time, Humpty fucking Dumpty is going to kill the Emperor. Like, common sense would tell you that the audience wouldn't really appreciate that or enjoy that. Because that's what I felt. I thought that was ridiculous. Like, I can't believe there's people out there that recommended this story to me. And I regrettably went and read these volumes, 2 and 3. I knew I shouldn't have, man. I shouldn't have listened to you people. Because I knew, like, I was like, Dark Empire 1 is fine. The Emperor comes back as a clone. Luke and Leia defeat him. And then people tell me, oh, did you read Dark Empire 2 and 3? And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Dark Empire 2 and 3? Do a quick search on Wikipedia. What? The Emperor comes back again? That sounds dumb as fuck. Oh, but it's really good. It's really good. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not really good. It's awful. Don't waste your time. Please don't waste your time. Just stick with Dark Empire 1. That was beautiful. That was enough. In fact, I want to say Dark Empire 2 and 3 kind of retroactively ruin Dark Empire 1 by attaching themselves to that good story. So at the end of the day, Humpty Dumpty is the hero of this goddamn story. And aside from that, another thing I noticed while reading this volume is that Luke Skywalker is barely in it. The Jedi are barely in this. I mean, words cannot describe how terrible this story is. At least Dark Empire 2 was serviceable. This right here is awful. Don't read it. So just be thankful that I read it so that you don't have to. So here we go. Let's begin this in-depth analysis of this flaming turd called Empire's End. So, basically, Palpatine has this deadly weapon of mass destruction called the Galaxy Gun. Very similar to Starkiller Base. It could shoot missiles through hyperspace. In fact, I will probably say that I'm pretty sure that Starkiller Base and the plagiarist J.J. Abrams stole that idea from this, because it's not a coincidence. So basically, Palpatine has the Galaxy Gun. The Alliance base has been destroyed, and our story opens up on the planet Ossus. And here we have some Force-sensitive shaman warriors called the Yasana. And they are using they are basically utilizing a Jedi meditation chamber. And they're having doubts about Luke Skywalker's ability to bring the Jedi back. And they regret allowing their children to be his students. So they basically allowed 2 of their children, characters called Jem and Raph, to join Luke Skywalker as his students. Well, Jem is already dead. Jem died in the previous volume Dark Empire 2. And there was some weird stuff going on between Jem and Luke. They tried to force this romance between them. So you got Luke embracing and kissing his student, and them being like, oh, I feel like I've known you for 1,000 years. Kind of nonsense that just didn't feel earned at all. And then right away she's killed. So in fact, there is no Jem. There's only Raph. So in regards to the Alliance ship called the Pelagia or the Pelagia, whatever you want to call it, is bringing rebel troops to attack an Imperial shipyard. And this ship is destroyed by the Galaxy Gun. Now, in regards to Emperor Palpatine, his body is not stable enough to sustain this new soul transfer or essence transfer or whatever you want to call it. And he's basically aging at an excessively high rate. And this is a cause for concern, and it's basically generating a sense of alarm within Palpatine, and his supporters are basically saying, take it easy, Palpatine. Don't get angry. Don't exercise too much dark force power because it can kill you. Now, Luke apparently destroyed the best of his clones. And this is why this current body that he's in is degenerating at a rapid pace. Now, discovery of the rebel base on Nepsis 8 basically goes down. So basically, the Empire is able to discover the new base for the rebels. And I don't know why we're calling them rebels when they should be the New Republic. But they are literally calling them the rebels in this. And that was kind of irritating. So basically, R2-D2 catches an officer attaching an Imperial homing beacon to the Millennium Falcon nav computer. And because of this, the Empire discovers the new base. And as a result of this, the Galaxy Gun fires a dud, or tries to fire upon the base and destroy it. And then this part is what I thought was really stupid. So all this time they've been hyping up the Galaxy Gun. You know, it could destroy planets from anywhere in the galaxy. And then they shoot whatever, their missiles. Because it's a missile, it's not like a laser like Starkiller Base. So the Galaxy Gun shoots one of its missiles, and it's like this big deal. It's coming. The heroes, our protagonists, can see it coming. It's incoming. Oh my God, we don't have enough time to escape. Han and Leia are just about to make it on the Falcon. You could see the missile in the hangar bay, and then boom, it just hits the hangar bay, and it's a dud. And it just looks so stupid. Words can't describe how stupid this panel looks. I kid you not, man. I'm not trying to be grotesque here or trying to be funny, but it literally looks like a flying dildo coming at the Millennium Falcon. It just looks so stupid. And then you're like asking yourself, like a reader, like what the hell just happened? What happened? And they're like, oh, it looks like the Empire fired a dud. And I thought that was so fucking dumb. I was like, what? Like, come on, man. Like, this is what I mean when I say this comic feels like it was written as a bad cartoon, like a badly written cartoon. So the Galaxy Gun fires a dud, and it ends up in the hull of the Calamari cruiser where everybody is. The rebels escape before the base is destroyed because Palpatine decides to shoot another missile from the Galaxy Gun. And this time he does destroy the base. So the Emperor tells the engineer to order more parts. We need new parts to fix this problem of this dud. Because they investigate and they find out, oh, these parts are from some bad factory. And it's like, oh, no wonder it was a dud. And then Palpatine is furious and he's like, get new parts. And he's getting all pissed off and threatening to kill the engineer. And then his advisors are like, calm down, Emperor. because him getting angry is making his flesh degenerate more. Honestly, when this book ends, I have no idea why they came up with this stupid little plot device here with this dud. It totally undermines the fear factor of the Galaxy Gun, which was stupid to begin with. So Palpatine also, in addition to threatening this engineer to fix the problem with the dud, he sends Dark Jedi to go and kidnap some Yasana warriors so he can clone them and make better bodies for himself. And, another thing that was just really stupid about this book was some of the names of these characters. Like, there's literally the name of the head Dark Jedi that took over from the previous one in Dark Empire 2. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Like, I understand that sometimes these Star Wars names can have a little extra flair to them and be a little difficult to pronounce and stuff and enunciate. But come on, man. Listen to this. The dude's name is spelled Xecr. What the fuck is that? How do I pronounce that? Zeker. And then his last name is Nist. So it's Xecr Nist. I am not going to even bother pronouncing that fucking dumb shit. I'm just going to call him Nist, okay? But if any of you can tell me in the comments how to pronounce this name and explain it to me in a way that doesn't sound absurd, I'd appreciate it, because that is just fucking dumb. Like, come on. So Nist is commanded to go with the other Dark Jedi to the planet Ossus to kidnap some Yasana warriors for the Emperor. He wants them to be cloned. He wants one of those Yasana warriors to be his new clone body. Now, probe droids are also sent out, and probe droids are also still looking for Leia and Han's children. Now, Han and Leia go into exile with their children, while the Jedi, Luke and his new students, and Humpty Dumpty, they go to Ossus. And when they go there, the Dark Jedi are attempting to take the Yasana chiefs for clones. And in fact, it's not that they're attempting, they are. They're taking them. So they take the Yasana chiefs so that the Emperor can use them as clone bodies. And the Jedi follow them to Vijun. And Vijun is a special planet because this is where Darth Vader had his castle. And then here, this is probably like the only interesting scene out of the entire book, even though the artwork is terrible. But at the very least, it was interesting. They have this big battle. So you got the Dark Jedi fighting the regular Jedi and Luke, because Luke and the Jedi are trying to rescue the Yasana chiefs. And there's this big battle, and Luke ultimately ends up destroying all the Dark Jedi minus Nist. Nist is able to get captured and stay alive, but Luke kills the other ones by using this huge Darth Vader statue. It's an effigy of Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker topples it and ends up killing most of the Dark Jedi. I thought that was an awesome scene. And there's also this kind of little backstory where Nist was supposed to get rid of this statue of Darth Vader on behalf of the Emperor because it disgusted him, and he never did because secretly he admires Darth Vader. So him secretly admiring Darth Vader basically contributed to the death of his peers, the Dark Jedi. Yeah, that literally was the most interesting thing that goes down in this book. So after this, the Yasana chiefs are frozen in carbonite, and there's a little trick going on here because there's no panel for somebody to, I guess you want to say, unfreeze them. So the only person that can unfreeze the Yasana chiefs are the Emperor himself. Now this takes us to Korriban, the homeworld, the ancient homeworld of the Sith. And basically, the Emperor is on Korriban, and he's there because he's trying to preserve his last body. And he goes there to consult the spirits of the fallen Sith. And it turns out that the reason why he came back after Dark Empire 1 was that the spirits of the fallen Sith guided him back to life. That's what's explained in this book. Now, that's all fine and well, but I really think that explanation should have been in Dark Empire 2, not in this volume. Because when I saw Palpatine come back in Dark Empire 2, I was like, what the hell's going on? There was no explanation. Now you're saying here that it was basically the spirits of the fallen Sith that guided him back to life. All right, whatever. But it's like kind of like the saying goes, it's a day late and $1 short over here. I could care less about the explanation now that I've had to sit through this entire awful comic book. So it turns out that these spirits cannot aid him in healing his current body, but they are able to show him where Leia's children are using a Sith Oracle Stone. So now the Emperor knows exactly where Leia's children are. So the Emperor commands his followers, makes them take a vow to care for the baby body that will be taken over if he's able to capture one of Leia's children. So they're primarily aiming to capture Anakin Solo. So in other words, if they are successful in capturing Anakin Solo, the Emperor's followers have pledged their allegiance to take care of him as a baby and not backstab him, right? But it is implicitly stated that the Emperor does not trust these followers, but he has no choice because he'll be an infant. So the Emperor's flagship decides to go where the Falcon is, and the Falcon is able to escape. So there's like this brief little skirmish, whatever. It's not exciting whatsoever. Now on Onderon, Chewie and Vima. Okay, so who's Vima? Vima is a Jedi. She's like this old woman, and she's a Jedi. And she gave Princess Leia this lightsaber in the first volume to this series. And then in the second volume, they go back to her location and recruit her. And I guess the intention is to either make her a follower of Luke Skywalker's or to contribute in bringing the Jedi back. So something like that. So that's who Vima is. So Chewie and Vima leave on the Millennium Falcon in an attempt to trick the Emperor into thinking that Leia is going on the Falcon. So they're hoping that Vima can generate the Force and do some kind of Force meditation and fool the Emperor into thinking that Leia is taking off in the Millennium Falcon, but the trick fails. And the Emperor knows that they're down on the planet Onderon. So the Emperor decides to go down on the planet himself, which was really fucking stupid. It was so dumb. I mean, even his advisors are like, no, don't go, Emperor. It's too risky. It's too risky. Your body's too frail. And he's like, no, I have to do this myself. Right then and there, you know, okay, this is going to be the downfall of the Emperor. Like, duh. And that's exactly what contributes to his downfall. That in conjunction with Humpty Dumpty basically taking action and taking it upon himself to defeat him. So the Emperor goes down to Onderon, and Luke leads a rebel assault on the Emperor's flagship. And then the Beast Riders of Onderon team up with the Jedi to battle the Emperor on the planet. Now, in regards to the Emperor pretends to be an old traveler, like this old, decrepit traveler traveling through the desert. He pretends to be this frail, kind old man, and he basically goes to the palace where Leia and her children are, and he pretends that he's seeking refuge and sustenance, and he goes up in there where Leia and Anakin is, and he tries to kidnap Anakin Solo. And then the Emperor uses Force lightning to take out Raf. So Raf, one of Luke's students, tries to intervene, tries to take initiative, but the Emperor electrocutes him with Force lightning and really messes him up. Now, this is where things get really fucking stupid, and this is the scene where Humpty Dumpty basically tries to take it upon himself to save the day. But before Humpty Dumpty intervenes, Han Solo shoots the Emperor in the back. And now that his body is basically gonna die for sure, now that Han shot him, the Emperor attempts to enter Anakin's body, but Humpty Dumpty protects him, and he basically jumps in the way, and then the Emperor Palpatine's body enters Humpty Dumpty, and then they both die because Humpty Dumpty uses the Force in order to battle his soul within him. So you have two souls in Humpty Dumpty's body, duking it out, battling, and Humpty Dumpty is able to save the day, and the flagship is destroyed. The end. Isn't that what you've always wanted to read in a Star Wars story? No. This book was awful. It was terrible. The hero of this book was not Luke. It wasn't Leia. It wasn't Han. It wasn't Chewie. It was Humpty Dumpty. The end. This book is an F. Easily. Do not read it. Avoid it at all costs. Be thankful I read it for you. Have a nice day. May the Force be with you. And last but not least, one love, people. Take care.